Okay, today I'm going to work on this bracelet, the Cullasaja River Bar by J.D. Lenzen. I've slightly modified for buckles, as on the back side you can see the core strands. On the front, virtually indetectable. So I'm going to show you how I did this. This is one I made a while ago. I'm not real happy with the way this looks, so we're going to try something different. And I'm not sure about the ending. We're going to try something different there as well, if I can. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Can adjust accordingly. I'm going to take the center of my cord here, and we're going to stand it up through the buckle. I'm going to send the two legs through, pull them through, pull it tight. We get used to this knot. Cow's hitch, lark's head, that plays a big role in this Cullasaja bracelet. So I like to do the two cow's hitch end. So we're going to do a false cow's hitch. So I've done it with my strand on the back, so that's hidden. So now I'm going to take my cord through the back, and that's created a loop here. I'm going to pull my cord through that loop, and it's going to create kind of a false cow's hitch, but from the front it's going to look like a cow's hitch, lark's head. I'm going to do the same with the other side. So bring my cord from the back side up, and we're going to go through this loop, just like the other side. Alright, so once that's pulled tight, it appears to be two cow hitches from the front, which is the look I want. Now, bring out my jig. Put that side on the jig. And then we're going to take the other put the other side of the bracelet in the jig. I'm going to go down through from the top down. I'm going to pull this tight, and I want my working end to the inside. Cross over the cord, and then we're going to go back up through the buckle from the bottom up. That creates a loop here. Put that down through the loop. Run that through the loop. I'm going to pull my cord, center cord here tight. I'm going to hold on to that with my finger and just pull this tight. And we're going to end up with a cow's hitch on this end as well. And we're going to do the same with the other side. We're going to go from the top down. Bring my working end to the center. Cross over the cord. And then come up through the bottom of the buckle up. Through this loop. Cord tight. So now I have 2 cows' hitches with my working ends to the outside. And that's where we'll begin shortly. We've got our jig set up. I've got my 2 cow's head, lark's head hitches, cow's hitches, working ends to the outside. Those 2 terms, cow's hitch, lark's head, are kind of interchangeable for this. There's a couple other names, I'd have to look them up. But I'm going to take my river colors. I found the center of my 4 feet. My center is right here. I'm going to set that right across the 2 cores. I'm going to take the right hand side first because I'm right-handed and that's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to go right between the 2 cores here, under the river, and make a loop out of that, just like this right here. And we're going to pull that tight. Just a basic overhand knot. Okay, now I'm going to take this cord, I'm going to go under the core, under the river, and leave myself a loop here. Go over the river and through the loop. And that should look familiar. Lark's head, cow's hitch type knot. And that's what we're going to do a whole bunch of for this bracelet. It's just these repeating as the rivers cross. So what I'm going to do now is I want my cords inverted when it comes over to this other side. So I'm going to give it a little twist. I want the mint green to the right and my astroturf to the left. Put those over. I'm not going to worry too much about them being tight just yet. But we're going to do the same thing we did before on the left here. I'm going to go across under the core and make just an overhand knot. This is where things are going to get a little funky till I get these tight. But I want the mints to the right and my astroturf to the left. Okay. I'm going to go under core, go over the river and through the loop. This reminds me of a song we used to sing when I was a kid. Going to Grandma's house. All right, there we go. So I should have my mint to the right, astroturf to the left. Nice, tight, snug, couple pair of lark's head, cow's hitches. And we're going to take the river, and again, because that's the way you have to do it, we're going to go right hand first. It's got to be right hand. I'm going to go with the right river first, go under. My left river is going to go over. So I should have a little cross across like that. Then we're going to repeat the same process. I'm going to take the right hand side. I'm going to go over and then come up through. We're going to pull it sort of snug for now. About like that, not super tight, but snug. I'm going to go under between, and then come back through the loop. Keeping my river straight. That's all there is to it. This bracelet. There's a couple variants on JD's Facebook page. I'll put a link to that in the description section. He had one, the electric third rail, I believe he called it. A couple other variations that he came up with. Whoa. And if I understand the story correctly, when he came out with this, somebody else had already came out with it about the same time and didn't have a name. So the name Cullasaja is the name of a river from the part of the country where the other person lived. And so JD and him decided that that would be the name they'd give it together. You can find that on his Tying It All Together Facebook page again, if I'm wrong, but I believe it was something similar to that. So again, we're going to just kind of get it snug so they're about the same spot. Go under. And there we go.
Control 3, Houston is departing Kimball's Lane, southbound.
All right, so we've got two side by side. We've started it. We've got our pattern going, and it's just going to continue. I'm going to take the right river under, the left river over, and then we're just going to continue making these cow's hitch, lark's head knots down till we get to the end. And then we'll figure out how we want to end this. Like I say, I did my original one the way JD did, with a part of a square knot, a Solomon. But we'll see when I get to the bottom, and maybe there's a better way. I'm not real, take that off. I'm not real thrilled with how this caused it to twist. And I wasn't real thrilled with the beginning, and as we can see, the beginning on this one is a lot cleaner. No twist up here. So when we get to the end, I'll see if we can get creative and do something less ugly. See you in a minute. Okay, so we've just continued that pattern, making the lark's heads down the bracelet, alternating my river right under, left over the top, because that's the way you have to do it. Actually, you can do however you want, but that's the way I have to do it. So I've done a little playing around, and I found a way similar to the other one, but that won't cause it to twist. So I've crossed my river, just like before. I'm going to go over the top, down through, and through the loop. But instead of continuing the lark's head or cow's hitch, I'm going to stop right there. Do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to give a little note right here. I had 8 feet of the black. You may want to go, if you do the same size bracelet, add 6 inches. I have enough to finish, but it's just barely. And as you can see with the river, let me get my tape out here. I have about a foot on each side, 14 inches on each side. So you could comfortably cut that down to probably 2.5 feet instead of 4 feet for the 2 river colors. All right. So sorry about that little digress there. So we've got just an overhand knot, the top half of my lark's head. I'm going to tie that like that. Now I'm going to take my river colors and I'm going to stick them in the hole down through the bracelet. And try not to get them too twisted up. There we go. So that should go just like that. That should go just like that. Okay, stick my other side through. Just because I'm going to try to hide the burned cords a little bit in the back, as I did on my initial one. So we're going to tighten these overhand knots up a little bit. And now I'm just going to do like you would a Solomon. Put this one across the top, that over, around the back, and up through this hole. And then we're going to pull that tight. But what that ended up doing for me is that continues a similar coming off of the lark's heads before it goes into the square knot. So it keeps the pattern and it doesn't twist as bad. And like I said, I solved the issue here at the top. Looks much cleaner. Let's compare the two side by side. So the top definitely, I mean, this is kind of sad. The bottom is much cleaner looking. When I get that singed, we'll cut and singe it here in a second. And like I said, I don't know if I mentioned early in the video, but I'm going to give a hats off to Mr. Coop. His Aztec sun bar is what's really inspired me to find a way to hide these cores and do JD's bracelets on the jig. Part of my disorder that I have, I like things to be uniform and the same. I've tied many a bracelet without the jig, but I definitely find with the jig it helps with my OCD. I'm going to snip and singe these, and I'll be right back with the finished product. So, when I got looking at the back of the bracelet, I decided to put my part of my square knot, my Solomon, I wanted the cords to go past there, so it goes between there and the buckle. And I think it's going to give it a little bit better place to cut and singe. So I've got my square knot nice and tight the way I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And let's get that burnt. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of texture. This little cuticle tool gives it a nice texture similar to the cord. Kind of hides the end a little bit. I don't know if the camera... I don't have a very professional setup. This is on my phone, on my lunch, in the truck at work. So there's not, it's kind of an overcast day, so it's not the greatest lighting. I apologize. Hopefully it works out enough that this can be seen. Cut the other side. We're going to burn it. And again, give it a nice little roll through the dough here. And like I say, I think this is definitely going to give me a much cleaner look.
315.
And once we've got those two cut, I'm going to cut all of these close to the edge here. All of you Yes fans, you'll know that's a Yes song. Then I'm going to melt this. And I'm not going to use the textured side because this is going to be against my wrist. Use the flat spot, give it a nice little smooth finish. And like I say, let's put these two side by side and compare. Definitely liking this much better than that. You know, I was happy with how it hid the core, but I was never happy with the beginning. Let's take a look down here at the end. And again, I think this gives me a lot more uniform look with the pattern of the bracelet. It's not going to twist the way that one did. It's still a little funky, but it's behind my wrist, so this part that shows looks good. And when I take the pictures, we'll do the MTV Pimp My Ride treatment and make it look pretty. But hopefully this will help. Again, check out some of Mr. Coop's tutorials. He does a much better job showing you how to put it on the buckle for the double cow's hitch. The Aztec Sun Bar. I believe the Icelandic Dream Bar is the one that I followed for the how to put it on the double cow's hitch. The Aztec Sun Bar was the inspiration for hiding the core on this one. I'll put a link to both of those. I'll put a link to JD's ball and loop. And I think that should do it.